Morning, folks. It's a great day today. I want to share with you something out of the book of John. I love what John does when he helps us to understand Jesus in a personal light. And Jesus, when he talked to the Pharisees, he always was talking about things of the heart, but they were so pragmatic that they could only see that he was talking about things of the natural man. And one of the instances of that is the very first conversation Jesus has with a Pharisee, and that's in John chapter 3. When Nicodemus came to Jesus, Jesus said unto him, "Except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God." And Nicodemus, in his ideas, said, How can a man be born again when he is old? How can he enter a second time into his mother's womb? And Jesus said, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, except a man be born of water and of spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of God." You must be born again. So what he was doing was introducing the idea of regeneration, repurposing, becoming something different than what you were. In World War II, after the war ended, the military sold many of their old bombers to private industry, and it became the forerunner of things we see today like FedEx and UPS and airmail and all those things. And what happened was these bombers, instruments of death in World War II, became something totally different. On the outside, they were the same. But on the inside, there was a new owner, there was a new pilot, and there was a new cargo. And that's what Jesus is talking about here. He's talking about regeneration. You're the same on the outside, but on the inside, there's a new owner. Except a man be born again. Now we're being led by Christ. And we have a new way. We're going a new direction. And of course there's a new cargo. The cargo of the love of God in your hearts. And that's what he was trying to get across to Nicodemus. And again, Nicodemus was saying, well, how can these things be? And Jesus said, if I was talking to you about earthly things, in verse 13 or verse 12, and you believe not, how shall you believe if I talk to you of spiritual things? So what he was trying to get across is that this is something in the heart. Why? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Regeneration. Renewing, being something different than what you were. For God sent not a Son into the world to condemn the world, but the world through him might be saved. Now there was one that understood that. Here at the end of John chapter 3 is John Baptist talking. They had come to John the Baptist and they'd saying, this new man, this Jesus, is getting more people following him than following you. And John said, I told you, in verse 30 he says, he must increase, but I must decrease. But he also understood what Jesus was talking about in the regeneration. For he says this at the very end, the Father loveth the Son, and gives all things into his hands. And he that believeth on the Son has everlasting life. And that he believes not on the Son shall not see life, but have the wrath of God abiding on him. John understood the inner workings of the heart, where the Pharisees were looking and seeing, and they did it again in John chapter 6, when Jesus began to talk about the bread of life and how that they must partake of him. They couldn't figure out why he was talking about cannibalism, But he wasn't. He was talking about receiving him into their hearts, receiving them into their lives. And when Jesus spoke to them, they never understood it. But folks, we understand it today. Jesus calls us. Jesus wants to be a part of our lives. He wants us to be totally renewed, regenerated. The old is gone and the new has come. And we have new life in him. And we thank God for that today. And I just wanted to share that with you. God bless you, and you have a marvelous day.